Dr. Sean Retty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister's statement of 9th of February outlines the current and future initiatives as this government looks to continue to build a resilient and competitive economy and do a good job for New Zealanders. Mr. Speaker, the underlying fiscal strategy that was enunciated is to have a tight rein on spending, to pay down government debt, and then to return excess revenue to taxpayers. In return, we expect results in efficiencies from our public services. Mr. Speaker, this strategy is giving us projected growth of 2.7% economic growth over the next 5 years, and this positions us well against GDP growth for our other major OECD countries, Australia, the US and Japan. At a national level, then, the economic outlook is stable, with steady hands on the tiller. Where we can policy influence key local drivers, such as interest rates, CPI and inflation, we do so in the long-term interest with the best information we have to hand. By definition, then, we have less influence on offshore factors, and this is where a resilient and multifaceted economy provides the best solution. Yet at the same time, recognising the not insignificant contribution by New Zealand to mitigate some of those global risks through our voice in forums such as the United Nations Security Council. At a macroeconomic level, then, the positive growth and a steady and stable economy is good. At a regional level, this government recognised the importance of the regions, and the Regional Growth Programme specifically focuses on 5 regions to identify growth opportunities: Northland, the Bay of Plenty, East Coast, Manawatu-Whanganui and the West Coast. Now, Mr. Speaker, this program is a collaboration between MB and MPI, together with local businesses, iwi and councils. Last year in Northland we had the Regional Growth Strategy at the beginning of the year, which identified the scope of the opportunities. And this year, a few weeks ago, we've had the Regional Action Plan identifying 58 opportunities for Northland. Why Northland? Well, we acknowledge the challenges. We're not afraid, we don't avoid them. We acknowledge the challenges that are currently confronting dairy. We're working hard to do what we can about that. We also acknowledge the challenges that Northland has in underperforming compared to other regions. So we're not afraid to address those issues. And in fact, the action plan with its 58 points identifies and prioritises what those actions might be. I'd like to look at 2 of these significant actions in that plan for Northland. First of all, the road of national significance. The road of national significance is absolutely critical for Northland, and it's part of a nationwide investment in roading for road of national significance at $4.5 billion. Indeed, there's projections of 35,000 jobs as part of that package. Now, Northland was very pleased to hear the scoping out of the 4-lane highway from Auckland to Northland, the, quote, Northland Corridor. That's real progress, and even better, it's an example of regional investments moving off the blackboard, off the plan, and becoming real and tangible. In fact, Northlanders see how real and tangible this investment is right now, Mr. Speaker. As they come over the top of the Bryn-Derwyns, there's probably a kilometre of cones as the north side of the Bryn-Derwyns is straightened out and the safety profile improved. Another 15-20 minutes drive on, you'll come to the Kensington roundabout, which is about to commence a significant piece of work on State Highway 1, which will also improve feeder roads into that area. Another 15-20 minutes on, State Highway 1 at Hikarangi has several hundred metres of cones where the highway is being upgraded, and many other areas of roading investment in Northland as well. I'd like to take one other example from the action plan, Huntavasa. Another example of actually deploying an action, taking it off the blackboard and making it real. $4 million to the Huntavasa and Wairau Māori Arts Centre. Now, in 1973, Frederick Huntavasa came to New Zealand. He was an established international artist when he did. He gained New Zealand citizenship, lived in Northland where his artwork was prolific, and it was influenced by living in Northland, by living in New Zealand and by living with Māoridom. I'd challenge a search for any other international artist who came to New Zealand with that reputation and has done the same. Stan Semenoff, Phil House and others have led the Huntavasa Challenge, and over many years others have contributed. A real example, Mr. Speaker, of this government contributing to the regions, actually putting its hand in its pocket. $4 million of proof and evidence right there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.